uncover the untold and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala.
We have to change the political culture in this country, really. Who has bewitched Ugandans?
I want to assure you, as government, we shall do whatever it takes to ensure that Ugandans are safe.
We have conversations that have analysis, explanation.
This law society, this union of theirs, because they want a job everywhere, they want to be this, they want to be that, they want... No. We know it's a union.
You cannot be making a road, bitumen grade 1, in Congo for 5 billion.
But not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth.
The argument that the General Court Martial is responsible for peace and stability is without basis, either in law or in fact.
We have been told how Napoleon was a great orator. Now, Napoleon cannot help me get food. They told me combine harvesters in Saskatchewan. I don't know where Saskatchewan is. This is a geography we're taught. Instead of teaching me how to preserve Mabera forest, they're teaching me about Rhineland. This is a problem we got. We cannot run away from it.
Right now, you hear very disgusting stories of members of parliament. Instead of discussing the details of loans, they ask for their cuts.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
The government's mandate is to maintain law and order, safeguard citizens' rights, and provide essential public services.
Remember, one of the pillars of a roadmap is innovation and entrepreneurship.
There has been this question of how are you protecting our indigenous seed?
It's going to be a tall project that answers somebody's question.
For the past 20 weeks, the Front Bench has brought you insightful discussions on governance, security, healthcare, justice, and commerce.
Why do you go through this complicated procedure, involve the lawyers? You bring the case against him, the judge will hear you out and pass judgment, and you're out of court in record time.
We remain committed to keeping you informed and engaged on key national matters.
So these are huge, these are powerful organizations which now Uganda chairs. Why don't you come together?
If we haven't migrated to the e-card because of various reasons, including that not all the people of Uganda have smartphones.
You can sit in your house, apply for a passport.
If you have a Ugandan who has a successful logistics firm in the US, it means he can come to Uganda and do a lot more.
Now airing every Monday at 8:30 p.m. with me, Jethro Kasaiji, your interface with the government only on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
A lovely morning to you, and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda Extra. I'm Robert Chirabonyonyitono. But in case you've been with us all the way from 6:30, that is when we begin our live broadcast with Good Morning Uganda. Julie, Ruben, and Olive. That's when we kick it start and break your day with a lot of information that you need to know what is happening locally and internationally. Now, in the Extra this morning, children are home for holidays. Many are reporting back next week, but of course you've had them and we still have them. Now this morning we want to look at why it's important to take dental care of your children during holidays. Now when we talk about dental care, that means something to do with the tooth. But I have an expert, or the mouth, I have an expert on that. Maybe it has a broader meaning, but in a layman's understanding. when we say take care of your dental formula, we usually mean the tooth and the tongue or something like that. But why bother myself? I have a doctor with me, a dentist to be more specific, and that is Dr. Stella Nakitio. Doctor, you're most welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, our viewers.
Now, to begin with, when we talk about dental care, what does it entail?
Wow. So dental care entails a number of things. First of all, I want us to understand that when we say dental care, we don't only mean the teeth, but we mean that all the structures that are in the mouth and around the mouth. So the teeth, the tongue, the roof of the mouth, the cheeks, and a little bit of the throat. Yeah, so we want to take care of that. And when looking at all that, we want to do everything that it takes to care of those places. So it entails toothbrushing, flossing your teeth, rinsing your mouth, and of course, occasionally seeing a dentist for a checkup. Yes.
Why would I see a dentist for a checkup? Because majority of us, I only visit a health facility, a doctor, when I'm not feeling fine. Yes. So if my tooth is fine, if my mouth is okay, why would I go and see a dentist?
Wow, interesting. Now, most of the dental diseases we see, by the way, the commonest is tooth decay. You'll find that it goes through so many stages. Most of these diseases go through so many stages before they cause pain. For example, if we look at tooth decay, or what we call dental caries, the tooth will start by just getting a little white spot, and you will not have any symptoms, you will not feel any pain. It will then go ahead and get a hole with no pain. Eventually, it may become sensitive, and in later stages, will become painful. But guess what? By the time there is pain, that is advanced disease. You may lose the tooth, but you may also need advanced treatment, which is quite more expensive. So the best thing is always to go for a checkup early enough before the disease becomes aggressive, before it becomes aged. So by so doing, you get these diseases at their earlier stages. They're easier to manage, and they're cheaper to manage. Yes.
Easier, cheaper. Yes. Now, let's look at why is it important for parents to be concerned about dental care of their children, mostly during this time when you have them home.
Wow. Now, the holiday is a very interesting time. It is a time of relaxation. There are no schedules. We are basically relaxed about, schedules, routines, and all that. So you're going to find that, let me just compare to the time when they're at school. If boarding school or day school, they probably at 8 o'clock, they'll do this. At 10 a.m., probably it's break time. At 1 o'clock, it's that. There is a routine they're following. When they're home, there's probably no routine. Children may sleep late, wake up late, and do whatever it is that they want to do as the day goes. So it's very easy to forget the toothbrushing routines. Children may, and sometimes, of course, the parents are not even home. They're probably going to work. So the parents may not be able to remind their children to do all these oral care things, toothbrushing, flossing, rinsing, all that. So it's very important that during the holiday, a parent takes extra care. Remember what I said? The disease that is gotten a bit earlier is easier to treat. So if we take extra care during the holiday, in this case, we are saying you're going to emphasize the toothbrushing, you're going to emphasize the rinsing, you're going to emphasize the flossing, and then you'll take the child for a dental checkup. One of the other things that we see quite often is that children will return to school, and within a month or two, they're being returned home. And they're being returned home to see a dentist, sometimes with a swollen cheek, So by the time you're getting a swollen cheek and pain, this is advanced disease. So if they came in during the holiday and we saw them at that point, we would probably have been able to take care of this problem. Yeah, so you can just imagine if, let's say, your child is in a boarding school. I'm going to use an example. Maybe the school is in Masaka and you stay in Kampala and you're cold, your child is in pain, you must take them to see a dentist. You're going to get the inconvenience of getting time off work. You're going to get the inconvenience of driving all the way with a lot of stress. And then you'll come and take the child to the dentist and then have to take them back to school. That's a big inconvenience.
Definitely.
It is much easier to have them treated or checked and treated during the holiday, and after that, the child can go and enjoy school. Yes.
Now, children often eat sweet things, and many parents have issues. The mother says, don't buy them sweets. As you're going, they will tell you, Daddy, 2 sweets. As you're coming back, have a toddler. And he says, Daddy, 2. 2. Because there are 2 sweets, okay. Mine and my brother's. Okay. Either chocolate or what. And there are some parents whose children will come to visit, and they're very strict, don't give my children chocolate.
Yeah.
How do you handle this sweet? They'll take the drinks. Today, not so many families have time to make that juice out of fruits and all that, but you have flavors. So how do we protect these? Most of these toddlers, they are hard to take to the dentist, they will scream, that complication. How do we prevent that?
Wow. And you have said a very important thing there, the imbalance of let me call it the imbalance in the love between the parents, mother and father, give, don't give, it's quite a common thing. But one of the things that I emphasize is you have to balance between you giving the treats, pleasing your children, and taking care of their health, their dental health in this case. Yeah, so it has to be a balance. You can't provide your child with treats all the time, and then at the end of the day they're sick. So you have to balance the two. So when do you give what? And of course, the holiday is also that time where the children are, first of all, without the routines, they're definitely bored. So they're going to snack more often on these sweet things. If you bought, for example, you probably bought soda. When you're coming back, it's in the fridge. You probably bought some cake, some cookies. All those are home. So it's easy for the child to go and pick as and of when they wish to pick. You're probably out already for work. The mother is out. Even the person you've left them with probably just wants to let them be. So they will easily pick. So how do we go ahead with this? First of all, it is creating a routine in a home whereby the children know they can have this at this time. The example I can give, let's say if your children have breakfast at 8 a.m., let them know at 10 a.m. they can have a treat. Let's call it break. Okay, maybe they will have their juice and their snack, whatever it is. Yeah, and then they know that before 5 they cannot have another treat, so they know. Okay, and after the treat, then they're going to brush their teeth, or at least rinse with water. Yeah, so it's that balance between, them having a bit of fun. It's holiday. Their children, they must enjoy, really. You can't be extremely restrictive. And then one of the other things that I quite emphasize, you mentioned the inability, let's say, to make the juices, and then you're going to give them the flavored, let's say flavored milk or flavored juices. One of the other things that we emphasize is us preparing these juices when there is time. For example, over the weekend, prep enough juice for the week, or for a number of days maybe. Put it in the fridge, and then they can easily pick it. In this juice, you're not going to put a lot of sugar. You're going to probably use ripened fruits, ripened mango, ripened pineapple. It gives some sugar, and then you're going to add little sugar. Store it. It is ready to drink when you have time over the weekend. Then as the week goes, the children are able to pick and take that. It's healthier. It's available, readily available. If they're bored, they will easily go and pick. And one of the other things, even when you say restrict the sweetened things, do not stop completely. You may consider a day or two during the week when they can freely eat their treats. For example, if they're coming from, let's say, prayers on Friday, on Saturday, on Sunday, let's say from church or the mosque, allow them maybe have their ice cream. Allow them have their sweet. Allow them have their soda. They know that next Sunday they will have, so they will wait for that next Sunday. Yeah, and of course, encourage them to brush after, especially if they're able to. If they've had this treat when they're almost home, then as soon as they reach, they can brush. But if you're on the move, you can just give them water to rinse and then either spit or swallow.
Now, Doctor, this takes me to something that I know even many mature people don't do right.
Okay.
how do we brush?
Okay.
Someone watching us there, how do I take good care of my, because you can only give what you have. We may be discussing children during holidays, but the adults out there, many are blundering. Many, even some, may not brush, and with the coming of, is it mouthwash and good scent, many may just play around games, and it is done. So how do we look out after the mouth?
After the mouth. Wow, a very important one. Now, toothbrushing is one of the most important things we do to take care of the mouth. It's much more important than just rinsing. It is much more important than using the mouthwashes. They are not a substitute to toothbrushing. Toothbrushing is the most important thing, really.
Many now use mouthwash, then some sprays for good breath.
Freshness.
Some chew, I hear mint, some leaves, and they're like, for them, they are okay.
Okay, so no, toothbrushing is the most important thing that you can do. Now, some of the facts that we know is you must brush at least twice a day. Twice is good enough. If you can do more, maybe, but twice is enough. Now, when do we brush is the question. Toothbrushing is cleaning out food from the mouth. In this case, food is the dirt in the mouth. So toothbrushing should happen after eating, not before. And this is the key point, and this is what, if anyone forgets anything today, this is one of the things I want them to remember. Toothbrushing happens after eating. If we could number them, we say the first most important time is after your last meal of the day. Call it supper, call it dinner. After the last meal of the day. Brush within about 20 minutes, before the 20 minutes elapse, of eating. Okay? And why do we do that? Why we are cleaning the food out? It is because the germs that cause disease in the mouth are naturally occurring. They don't go anywhere. They're always there. Now, when you give them food, they eat this food and then produce an acid that causes all this damage. So if you've put the food, please clean it out so that the germs, much as they're there, they will have nothing to eat and then damage your teeth. Now, I want to also emphasize at this point, and since you mentioned the parents, I want to emphasize to the parents, the mothers and the fathers. The fathers love football a lot. So you may find that they've had dinner at 8 p.m. and they're going to bed at 11. And one of the mistakes that most people do or say is brush before bed. You know, brush before you go to bed. No, that's not the right thing. It's not, the toothbrushing is not tied to sleeping, to going to bed. It is tied to eating. So if you, let's say you've had dinner at 8 and you're sleeping at 11, that is 3 hours of damage. So the best thing would be to brush after you have eaten, not when you're going to bed. Okay? Now, why do we insist so much on that toothbrushing, especially at night? It is because at night when you're sleeping, the mouth is closed, the tongue is not moving, there's no movement at all. So the situation is calm. The mouth is wet, there's saliva, it is warm, your body is warm. So those are very good conditions for the germs to do a lot of damage. There should be no food on your teeth at night, okay? Now, when you wake up in the morning, of course, the mouth may not feel fresh. The saliva was stagnant. So what you do in the morning, you may just rinse with water or just straight away go ahead and have breakfast. And after that breakfast, you then brush again. During the day, we don't emphasize brushing so much, especially if you've not had sweetened foods. It's because the mouth is very active. You're going to be talking, you're going to be probably chewing on a few things. Yeah. So you don't have to brush as the day goes. But remember, the rule is twice a day, after breakfast and after your last meal of the day. Rule number 2 is that the brushing should happen for 2 minutes minimum. At least 2 minutes. If you do 2 minutes, that's good enough. Now, the 2 minutes may sound a short time, and I want the parents out there to time themselves or time their children, and you'll be surprised that you've been probably brushing for 34 seconds only. You know, yeah, but it's supposed to happen for 2 good minutes. It allows the ingredients in the toothpaste to infuse into the tooth, into the teeth, into the other tissues, and then make them stronger. If I just translate from my local language, toothpaste is called, literally translated as medicine, you know, medicine for the teeth. Medicine for the teeth. So if you do not allow the 2 minutes to pass, the medicine will not have worked. You just spit it out, rinse it out, and it will not have worked. You've basically wasted it. Now, the other very important thing, and allow me demonstrate this. The way the teeth are brushed is also an important thing. It's not just a matter of getting the toothbrush, getting toothpaste, and just making any movement in the mouth. You will notice that the gum is not straight. Okay? It's a straight line. The gum has curves. We say it is scalloped. Now, if you brush your teeth in a straight line, you're going to be damaging the gum. If you brush your teeth upward, you're going to be pushing up the gum. So the way you should brush your teeth is using small circles, small, gentle circles. So we are brushing the teeth in very small circles, okay? Going all the way to the other side. And if you're gentle and, slow and gentle, by so doing, you're going to actually use 2 minutes. One other important one at that point, first of all, before I leave that, you want to brush the outside of the teeth, the inner side, and the tops, okay? When you're brushing the tops, any movement is okay, okay? But otherwise, when you're brushing the outer sides, you want to go in just small circles. For the chewing surfaces, any motion can do. Don't forget the tongue, okay?
Then these inner ones, let me just show you. For this
inner surfaces. The inner surfaces, it's still
gentle.
Okay, let me just try and demonstrate. With the model, you may feel like it's easy. So it is little circles on the outside. When you're going to do the outer surface, just turn the toothbrush. Enter inside. Still do the same motion. Surface of the chewing surface is any motion. The tongue is any motion. Don't always forget the tongue. Yeah. That's basically it. One of the other useful things that you can do at home, especially if you're home, you're not rushing to work, is when you have brushed your teeth, you don't necessarily have to rinse out at that point. You can just spit and let this toothpaste stay around the teeth for a longer time. It does a lot of work. It's quite helpful.
Now, brushing, well, those of you who just put toothpaste on, then together, I'm done. Well, you have learned how to do it and why actually you should do it that way. Now, doctor, also there is a challenge for the infants. Some say these children brushing starts at a certain age. When should I start brushing a child's tooth?
A child's teeth.
And how?
And how? Okay. The right time to start brushing children's teeth is as soon as you see their first tooth in the mouth. Averagely, it's 6 months. It can be before that or after that. Averagely, it's 6 months of age, okay? As soon as you see a tooth, it is time to start cleaning the teeth. On market, you're going to find that they're toothbrushes for infants. They have very small heads. They are not as big as the adult toothbrushes. They are quite small. They have very small heads, and sometimes they have a fat and rounded handle, so that the child cannot swallow the toothbrush. Of course, at 6 months, the child is not able to brush themselves. Even at 1 year, it may be quite hard. So what do we do? You can use a bit of cotton. If you cannot access cotton, find a clean piece of cloth, something you can clean and dry well. Put a little toothpaste, and then you rub, in a circular motion, rub around the child's tooth. That is one way of doing it. If you're able to find a toothbrush, they're there on market. They have very soft bristles, so you're not worried about the toothbrush hurting the child's gum. Put a little toothpaste. For children below the ages of 2, we want a smear of toothpaste. It's just a smear, little. Or if you just want to quantify it, it's like a grain of rice. That is how much toothpaste they need, okay? And good enough, on market now, you're able to find toothpaste that is fit for 0 to 2 years. Okay, it's readily available. So just a smear or like a grain of rice, and use that. Still, they should brush their teeth in the morning, after their first meal, and then after their last meal. Okay, and it's always very good for you to visualize these teeth as you go. Keep looking at them. If you find that there's a layer, that is a time to clean, even if it's not one of those 2 times. Try and clean them. especially if they are if they're unable to, to breastfeed and eat healthy food. They're probably taking a lot of formula, taking a lot of maybe flavored milk or sugar in their feed. You may not have to wait for these 2 times because their teeth are still soft. They are not as hard as the older children's teeth. For the children that are above, once the child especially is able to stand, start to introduce a toothbrush. For them to hold, give them to hold. They should be able to have the feel of the toothbrush in the hand and in the mouth, the feel of the toothpaste in the mouth. So start to give them. But of course, if they're still 1, 2 years, you may still have to help. But children learn by seeing. If they never see you brushing your teeth, this is going to become a challenge. Occasionally brush in their face. Let them know that brushing is a normal act. Everyone does it anyway, and sometimes I tell my patients that one of the best ways you can get your child to allow you to brush them is by you allowing them to brush you. For me, that has practically worked with my children. We brush together and I'll say, brush me. I give them my brush and I will let them try it out in my mouth. And once you have allowed them, they will then also allow you brush them. Because one of the biggest challenges I hear parents saying is, I have to hold this child down to brush them. They're always fighting. No, the children don't have to fight. Let it be fun. You can even at home construct a song, You create your own song.
Mine usually ask, I want to brush, buy me because they see it. The only mistake I think, doctor, that you must emphasize is many people don't brush after food. And I know many people watching us, they brush once you wake up, you must brush. So after supper, you sleep without brushing. This is a common thing. Many people, usually we do a lot of travels together, groups, a number of groups, and we do a lot of domestic tourism in groups, camping. But you will see people, at night, they go to sleep. Now in the morning, waking up, brushing becomes a problem. That's why we are one who didn't pack. Have you ever traveled with people?
Yes.
Then someone forgot to
pack the
now,
toothbrush.
how you see them, I forgot you have toothpaste. Then they are running, but at night no one was bothered. Meaning they slept without brushing. But in the morning, because they are going to speak to people, they are concerned about the bad breath, not the. So many people still have that problem. And we want to emphasize, brushing should be after a meal. Not you going with all that food, the bacteria has fed on it and whatever. Then in the morning, you come to brush after 12 hours of giving what destroys your teeth enough time to do the work. Now, what are some of the signs that a parent can notice and know that this child needs to visit a dentist?
Wow. So one of the things that every parent should do is to occasionally look into the child's mouth. It doesn't have to be at the brushing time, but occasionally call your child over. Do it from when they're still little. They will allow you to do it even as they grow older. Look into the mouth. Before this child is able to tell you that they can't, they have pain. One, you may see white spots on their teeth. Usually signs of decay starting. You may see brown stains. You may see black stains. You may see actual holes on their teeth. You may see wounds on the gum or little swellings on the gum. You may see little swellings on the cheeks. Okay. Sometimes you're able to see that a tooth is actually broken or chipped. Front teeth, a child probably was playing, you were away at work, and then you come back and the child has a chipped tooth. That's what happened, Yeah, sometimes the teeth are loose. For older children, they're probably able to speak, so they can tell you maybe when I eat, they get a feeling, they can say it hurts, or there's something in my mouth, So you're looking out for sensitivity, you're looking out for pain, actual pain, you're looking out for boils on the gum, sometimes especially the front teeth, or sometimes at the back you're able to see real actual boils. Yeah, then it is time to see a dentist. For older children also, especially as they go above the ages of 6, 7, 8, you may see crooked teeth, teeth that are not in a good line. It's also time for you to seek help from a dentist. One of the other almost unsaid symptoms you may see, if let's say your child has been a good feeder, and now they don't want to eat, they seem to be avoiding food, you may want to see a dentist at that point, or at least look in. They may be having a pain and they're not able to articulate the pain, but you know, from their inability to eat, you're able to tell there's a problem in the mouth. Yeah.
Well, we are still looking at dental care for children during holidays. Why is it important for you as a parent to focus on dental care? You're taking them back to school next week or after, but remember, we do not want you to, after a very short period of time, to be called, come and pick. Those are for the ones in boarding. For the day scholars, you're at work and a phone comes in, a phone call, things are not good home, make sure. So there are a lot of inconvenience. And the dentist I have with me here, Dr. Stella Nakitio, says, no, these can be prevented. Use this time to ensure that you prevent, you work on all these so that you don't have these inconveniences. But also, doctor, many dentists, once you step there, it becomes like a routine. I don't know if it's my personal experience, but I'm also sure I've seen many people. You visit a dentist once, then today they are doing this, come back again, again. Now we are working on this. I mean, why is it that way? Unless you say, remove that tooth, but you can start dentistry. Is it called, I don't know, that journey?
And it doesn't end.
Woo!
It's not supposed to end. Okay, this is what it's supposed to be. So ideally, you know, let me use the analogy of the cars for some of you who have cars. Your car is supposed to be serviced, let's say, for some cars every 5,000 kilometers. With no problem, you will, and this is interesting, men will not forget to service their cars every 5,000 kilometers. The women may forget, but the men will not forget. Now, your body is also a machine that is working every day. You can imagine all the food that goes into your body goes through the mouth. Most of the things that go into your body go through the mouth. But this is a part of your body that you don't want to service. Ideally, you should see your dentist twice every year. Ideally. It is for a checkup, it is for a cleaning. That is ideal. For some people, and I want to emphasize some of this, for the people, let's say, who have chronic illnesses like high blood sugar, they will need to see their dentist almost every 3 months. For people who have lots of, especially a prior, lots of cavities in the past, will need to see their dentist much more often. Those who haven't needed may. Sometimes if you have been there and nothing has been found over the years, every 6 months, you can then move it to a year, you know. But averagely, it's every 6 months. Now, sometimes, just like you mentioned, sometimes I have patients who are telling me, you know, I brought one tooth. I wanted to just treat one tooth, but now you're saying A, B, C, D, there's many.
This is infected, now it's going to infect the other, you know? This is infected, and you're like, and with this technology where there is, I don't know the scientific word used, where there is a monitor there, then there's a camera, then the dentist can show you. You know, even for an x-ray, you just visit a dentist, and he has something they'll just insert around here, so he can move it throughout your mouth. Now they begin showing you, you see this one? Now it's going to infect this one. You see this one? At the end of it, you're like, don't I have a single tooth in my mouth? That is okay? Oh, I better do replacement from heaven and have the entire removed and you put new.
Put new ones. Now, that's usually, that is a challenge of delay of seeing a dentist. It is not common. It is almost impossible that you saw your dentist every 6 months and you were educated well educated, first of all, educated and skilled. You know what to do at home. You know how to brush. You know when to brush. You know what to eat, what not to eat, what to do after you have eaten, what you're not supposed to eat. You know, if you know all that, and let's say all disease was treated, it is very rare, almost impossible that you'll come back after 6 months and you have very many sick teeth. It is almost impossible. But if you have taken 3, 4, 5 plus years without seeing your dentist, chances are very high that you're going to find more than one problem, more than one issue. Now, also, using the analogy of, let's say, a rotten tomato, that is the quickest one I can use. If you have one decayed tooth chances are very high you're going to get decay on others. It is because, literally, what do we call decay? Is decay. Something is rotting in there. Something that is rotting has a very high concentration of germs, you know. So do you think this tooth is not walled off the rest? It's in the same environment. So these germs are in a high concentration in this whole environment, you know. And most likely your habits haven't also changed. You're probably still eating the very sweet things quite often, and you're probably not brushing very well. So before you know it, several teeth are diseased. Yeah, so it is important, I want to emphasize, that if a dentist finds several issues in your mouth, get all of them sorted out in a short period. Don't leave any rotting teeth, any rotting tooth in your mouth. It will be a source of infection for all the rest. Yeah.
Well, I must go for a very short break. When I return, I'm still with the doctor. Of course, we are discussing more regarding tooth care, but with specific target of the holiday makers, the young ones. They need you to ensure that their tooth is very okay as they report back to school. Let's return shortly.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Buza Commissioner, enhancing tax education and bringing it closer to the taxpayers. Many Ugandans have questions about the taxes they pay to URA.
When we come at revenue, they tell us to clear Chitenge at 10,000. And when we are selling Chitenge, we sell it at 17. So we don't know whether we are working or not.
Understanding your tax obligations can help you grow your business and avoid unnecessary losses. Now, you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. Come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful kids water park. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotellaconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
This is Diamond Platinums. Just want to confirm to you that May 24th, I'll be performing live at Africa Coffee Park for Coffee Marathon Concert, and Diamond Platinums will be performing live. So tell all Mukos, Lion Simba is coming. Gonna have fun. Gonna celebrate.
Grab your kit, grab your shoes, because we are running at the Coffee Marathon in Tungamo on the 24th of May. And if running is not your thing, you can show up for the vibes. As we close the day at the Coffee Concert with live performances from Diamond Platinums, Sister Charity, and Reggie. Visit www.coffeemarathonug.com to register now for just 30,000 shillings. Your fee includes a marathon kit and full access to the concert. The Coffee Marathon, uplifting rural coffee women out of poverty. Brought to you by Inspire Africa Group.
The government's core mandate is to maintain law and order, safeguard citizens' rights, and provide essential public services.
Remember, one of the pillars of a roadmap is innovation and entrepreneurship.
There has been this question of how are you protecting our indigenous seed?
It's going to be a tall project. That answers somebody's question.
For the past 20 weeks, the Front Bench has brought you insightful discussions on governance, security, healthcare, justice, and commerce.
Why do you go through this complicated procedure, involve the lawyers? You bring the case against him, the judge will hear you out and pass judgment, and you're out of court in record time.
We remain committed to keeping you informed and engaged on key national matters.
So these are huge, these are powerful organizations which now Uganda chairs. Why don't you come together?
If we haven't migrated to the e-card because of various reasons, including that not all the people of Uganda have smartphones.
You can sit in your house, apply for a passport.
If you have a Ugandan who has a successful logistics firm in the US, it means he can come to Uganda and do a lot more.
Now airing every Monday at 8:30 p.m. with me, Jethro Kasaiji, your interface with the government only on your public broadcaster, UBC, Inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from that break, and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. This is the Extra in case you've just joined us, and we are looking at dental care for children during this holiday season. We know they are going back, but we want to ensure that everything to do with dental care is well handled. I'm not alone, I'm with Dr. Nachito Stella from
Alisa Dental Services.
Alisa Dental Services.
Yes.
Okay, from Alisa Dental Services, with whom we've been discussing more and still discussing. Now, doctor, we've looked at the signs, we've looked at how to brush, when to brush, but I'm so interested also to know, are there specific foods, specific habits that we must avoid during this holiday season, but also teach our children to avoid, because dental care is continuous. There's what you do as a parent, but there must also, you must be intentional to tell this child. You may give the child pocket money. Yes, home, I restrict street things and all that. But she has the money when they go to school. And we give them pocket money, we give them some money to keep them with money. Teach them how to manage money as well. And they resort to these street things that you don't give them at home.
Okay, so the first thing to do as a parent is to train the children, encourage, supervise. So as a parent, you will train the child on what is right. And for me, the emphasis here, why I really insist on teaching children, is that habits that are taught early on in life last for life. You know, so we must teach the children now when they're very young. So you teach them the right way of doing things, the right way of brushing, when to brush, how to brush, and all that. You tell them, you train them on what the healthy foods are. I'll tell you what they are. You tell them what is not very good for them, okay? Or what should be eaten in smaller quantities. What should be regulated, basically. They should hear from you. And remember, monkey see, monkey do, they are saying from you. So if you're going to tell them, you know, don't put sugar in your tea, but you're putting, that can't work.
It is okay for daddy, but bad for you because you're young.
It can't work. It goes along to say that the Baganda say, literally translated is, what is not there does not make a child cry. So if you're going to buy all these foods that are not very good for the teeth, and they're in the home, they're in the fridge, the children are going to eat them. So don't buy them, you know. Buy them in smaller quantities, because of course we have said these are children, they must enjoy some niceness of life, you know. Yeah, but don't buy too much, okay? Also, we want that you're supervising and encouraging. For the working parents, you're going to tell me it's holiday, yes, but we're at work. How can you supervise your children? The practical thing that I do is to call home at about 9 a.m. And I remind them to go and brush their teeth. Okay? If the auntie has forgotten to remind them, I will personally ask if they have brushed, and I'll remind them to brush at that point. How can we then encourage? Of course, at night when you're there, you've probably had dinner with them, so you will probably brush with them or tell them to go and brush. One of the other things, how you can encourage for all age ranges, little ones, buy toothbrushes that are colorful, that they like. You may know what your child likes. Maybe they like purple. Find a purple toothbrush. These days, you're able to find toothbrushes that have cartoon characters on them. You know what your child likes. Buy that cartoon character. So they will look forward to the toothbrushing. Buy toothpaste that is flavored, their favorite flavor, because they are there on market now. You can find them anywhere, probably in this country. Yeah. So buy them that flavored toothpaste, so they look forward to the toothbrushing. How else can you encourage? If they've brushed well, praise them. Sometimes you may give them a little present. If you see that they're routinely brushing their teeth, keep encouraging them in the same way that we normally encourage them. Yeah, so some of those things. Now, when it comes to eats, to the foods, there are foods that are very healthy. Fruits, vegetables, dairy is quite good for the teeth. Eggs are quite good for the teeth. Fruits, especially that are hard, things like apples, fruits that are crunchy. You may find other crunchy fruits in your environment. Crunchy fruits that don't have so much sugar, not so much acid. Those are very good to munch on, especially to snack on. Yeah. So provide those and put them in areas where they're easily reached. For example, in the kitchen, as they enter the kitchen, you may have put your fruit basket there, bananas, so that they're easily reachable. A child can easily get for themselves. And then you've kept these treats away from their sight, okay? Let's say you have some chocolate at home. You don't have to put it here where every child can reach. You probably can keep it away. When it's time to have it as a treat, you can then bring it out. Number 2, use alternative foods. The simplest example I can give, instead of giving cake for break, you may give a samosa. I want to think it's equally nice. Yeah, it feels still nice. So they're able to have a samosa instead of cake. Or maybe a chapati instead of a cookie. In this case, we are basically just worried about the sugar, especially the sugar that they snack on. The third trick is to involve the children in selection of these foods. You have educated them, and if you find it very difficult to educate the children on these healthy things, and you have failed, carry your whole family, children, parent, carry all the children to the dentist. The dentist will do the educating so that they will know it comes from the dentist. If you're worried about, the child saying you don't want to give them, so the dentist can say them, can tell them. Then the children can participate in selection of these snacks and in preparation of these snacks. Imagine if your child was able to make a Rolex by themselves, or they have seen you, they have made the chapati themselves, and they have fried this egg themselves. They will definitely eat it and enjoy it, as compared to when you make it and give it. Yeah, so involve them in the selection. When you go to the market, let them go to that place where you're buying the fruits, and they can choose out the fruits they want. Okay, that are healthy, advise, and in preparation, help them, involve them. If they're making juice for the week or for a few days, allow them to also participate in that. Because they own the thing now, they will definitely eat it. Yes, so those are some of the tricks.
Well, just to let you know that we will be having a Martyrs Day celebration press conference right from Namugongo Martyrs Shrine. And we know that 3rd June is a big day in Uganda, because visitors across Uganda and the entire world come to Uganda to celebrate Martyrs Day. So we will be having a live coverage of a press conference at Namugongo, where they'll be giving us details of how this year's celebrations are going to be worked upon, going to be held, who are the organizing people there, because the Catholics have a way they do it, the Protestants have a way they do it. So at the Catholic shrine, things are different, and also at the Anglican side, because for the Anglicans, they don't use the word shrine. It is the Catholics that use the word shrine. So we are expecting a press conference there, and anytime if we go there, please, it is the Martyrs Day preparation press conference that will be happening. But I'm still with Dr. Stella Nachito, who is a dentist and working with
Alisa Dental Services.
Alisa Dental Services. Now, we are looking at why it is very important for your children and you as a parent to take care of their tooth. Now, when the worst comes to the worst, and this teeth needs removal, parents have a challenge. I personally, I must confess on this show, if there is anything I fear going to the dentist, is whenever I think of that pain I had 15 years ago, it was very painful, doctor. Very painful. I felt like my brains were being removed. Just went a very pierceful, seeing deep pain, and the moment they were pushing, I was like, oh, am I making it out of here? So every time, even if I go to the dentist and he says, yes, we've looked now, we need a bit, I'll tell him just ease myself and there I will never return. So how do we handle that as parents? Because even some children, the moment you tell them, let's go visit a dentist for a checkup, some can even disappear in oblivion and you will never see your child again.
Wow. Wow. So I can imagine, I think I know what you mean. It can be daunting to go to the dentist. But as dentists, one of the things that we have done to especially, reduce the trauma that comes with visiting a dentist.
Open your mouth or I'll pierce it on your stomach. And there's this injection. Hey, should I?
Okay, so one of the things that we have done as dentists is to definitely use easier equipment, easier things for the children. You'll find that the needles that we use these days are much smaller. They bring very little pain. Okay, but it's also to make the places friendly for the children. There's probably things they can use to play. When they go in, they're going to find friendly stuff. The doctors are quite gentle and playful. And we have also realized that we don't have to do everything in this one visit. Okay, you may find that the child has pain, but this is their first exposure to a dentist. So one of the things we do is that we may medicate this pain and just play with the child in the chair. Take the chair up and down, just basically get them used to the environment, okay? We don't have to, on that very day, take out that tooth, We can introduce the child to this dentistry step by step, starting with the simplest of things. We may even decide maybe today we're just going to polish their teeth, but we have managed the pain meanwhile, okay? And then at a later date, if the tooth has to go out, at a later date, we might then go and remove the tooth. Or if it's treatable, we will then go ahead and treat the tooth, because now the child is used to you, used to the environment, you're friendly. So it is about the child. We don't have to rush into the treatment right away. Yeah, really. We get the children used to the place, and we then execute the treatment. Yeah, so I believe you may not find the situation may be very different now. Now
also there is another thing very important. Now we are telling parents that before you take your child back to school, be concerned about dental care. Look into their mouth. You're not an expert, but at least there are some signs that you can see that, yes, there's a challenge with this tooth. Take them to a dentist before taking them back to school. I know of some schools that require every holiday for a doctor or medical report, but I didn't see dental indicated there. But one of the challenges also is dental treatment is very expensive. Very expensive. A visit at a dentist sometimes will shock you. Doctor, when a dentist says we are going to remove or we are going to do the common root canal, that's the first time. Then I've let you have this thing you call crown. Now after we need to press, and when you look at the bill, they are telling you like, did I come for kuchara?
Well, so the key word I will use here is delay. Delay is expensive. Dentistry is not expensive. Delay is expensive. If you remember where I started by saying tooth decay especially goes in stages. So many stages around there. So many things can be done from the very first time we see a white spot. Always tooth decay starts like a white spot. From the time we see a white spot, there's something that can be done at that point. Very cheap. When it makes a very small hole, a small filling, cheap. A bigger hole, simple filling, still cheap. But when you delay to treat, you're going to get into things like root canal treatment, which take a lot of time, take a lot of material, so they're going to cost you much more. And of course, every time a tooth is root treated, it must have a covering, a crown, for reinforcement of structure. A lot of money, you know. So why are you waiting to have root canal treatment instead of going early enough and then treat this disease in its earlier stages? For example, I'll tell you that when we see white spots, one of the things we'd say is emphasize your toothbrushing. Or pick a bit of toothpaste and rub onto this spot, okay? That you can do at home with what you already have. How cheap is that? How expensive is that? That is very cheap, you see. So at the right time, you know, disease seen at the earlier stages is much, much cheaper to treat. But delay, I emphasize, delay will cost you a lot. Yeah. So that's why we are insisting on these routine checkups, by the way, for both the parents and the children, much as we are talking about the children in this show. But I also emphasize for the parents. You know, how are you going to teach your child that every 6 months you see a dentist? You take them when they don't see you. Every time you bring the child in, for you, you know, you stay seated, nothing is done to you. They're not learning from you in that case. You know, you're just insisting for them. So even as you bring in the children, you also have a checkup done for yourself, you know. By them saying this will be, you know, imparted into their brain that for life they must have their routine checkups and cleaning. Why do we insist on the cleaning, by the way? That is one of the other things that I've probably not mentioned. We eat every day, so many times a day, and we are not able to brush on most of these times. We insist on brushing after breakfast and after your last meal. But there is food that is eaten, you know, along, in the middle of the day there. And in your mouth, there's saliva that has some minerals in it. So as you eat and not brush during these times, that food remnants and some minerals from the saliva will stick onto your tooth, in addition with the bacteria that is in your mouth. They will stick onto your tooth. And you will start to see that there's a layer on your teeth, first of all, that you can remove, let's say, with a toothpick. It is usually whitish. But if that layer stays for long, it will then create another layer that you can't even brush away. You look into the mouth. The easiest place you can look is under your lower teeth. Parents at home, you can look into your mouth and see under your front teeth. You may see a layer there that even if you brush, whatever you do, you may not be able to take it away. It's called tartar or calculus. Now, that is what, when you come to the clinic, we are going to remove that layer. Every 6 months, that layer will form because you eat food and you have saliva in your mouth. Why must we remove it? That layer is an aggregation of bacteria, of germs, of food, and of saliva. We remove it so that it's not a source of infection for the gum, but also we know that that aggregated, the germs aggregating in that tartar are going to cause gum disease. So to prevent gum disease, we have to remove that layer. Yeah. So when you go in for your 6 months checkup, also expect a cleaning. If it is not necessary, the dentist will let you know that it's not, your teeth are clean, still clean, there is no tartar, we don't have to clean, okay? But expect that when you go in, that is the other thing that may be done. Yes.
Now, Doctor, time is moving very fast. There is a common thing, this may not be for the children, but I see many people today going to whiten their teeth. What is done, and is this healthy?
Yeah, whitening is, so of course as we age.
Sometimes I'm not seeing it with, even sometimes I'm not professional dentists doing it. I say, Jango, you see them on TikTok, on various platforms, come, we brighten, we whiten your teeth.
So as we age, as you eat more and more and more food, you're going to see stains, your teeth changing color with so many stains, you know. Some are on top, some are in, you can remove some can't be removed. So whitening is one of the other things we do to just give you a brighter smile, especially for people like you in this kind of industry. But also so many others. Yes, you may need to whiten your teeth. It's just to give you, you know, the teeth, one of the things they give us is confidence. A beautiful smile gives a lot of confidence. Now, if your teeth are stained, whitening is one of those other things you may consider to just boost your confidence in that area, to give you a beautiful smile and more confidence. Yeah. But for children, especially young children, no, we do not need to do any whitening. This is usually for adults. Yes.
Well, we must get out of here, but before I let you out, do you have how can people reach you? Do you have a social media, you have social media handles, pages? How best we can get to you as you give us also your parting shot?
Okay, so I work at Alisa Dental Services. This clinic is found on Bokoto Street in Kamocha, very close to Acacia Mall. And you can reach me on telephone numbers.
Socials usually.
Socials?
Do you have, yeah.
Yes, at Alisa.
At Alisa.
At Alisa. A-L-I-S-A. On all of them. At Alisa.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Nachito Stella from Alisa Dental Services. Thank you for your time. And of course, I hope our parents, the children, have benefited so much from this talk. Prioritize dental care as you think about taking your child back to school. Have a great day. May the good Lord bless you. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
The government's mandate is to maintain law and order, safeguard citizens' rights, and provide essential public services.
Remember, one of the pillars of a roadmap is innovation and entrepreneurship.